Good evening, everyone, and welcome to That Sewing Lab. We're delighted to have you here this evening. We have a special guest this evening, Myra from Simple Inspirations. I always want to say One So Sweet. And as well, we're discussing a hot topic, I think, activewear, athleisure wear, workout wear, whatever you want to call it. But before we begin, just a quick rundown for those who might not know anything about the show. The comments, if you're on Crowdcast, you can read your comments on the right. And if you scroll down, we have a couple tabs, questions and topics, polls, and info. And you can put any questions you have there. And I see there's already 4 questions, so we'll get to those after we introduce everything. You can put your questions down there, and then Myra and Alethia and I will answer them if we can. And I think that's about it. We'd love it if you'd share this out, because what do they always say? Sharing is caring, right, Alethia?
Yeah, love it if you share it. So just look right down below us. There's a share button, and share it out. Twitter, Facebook, all your friends. Thank you.
Yeah. And
awesome.
Yes, everyone knows my amazing host, Alethia Hudson, from So Much Talent, as well as Alethia Sews. So we're delighted to have you here. What have you been up to this week, Alethia?
Whew, what have I been up to? Been trying to keep control of this blog, this whole challenge situation, and getting my pieces finished up. So I still don't look at that jacket back there because it's still in progress. Okay, so just so I could, I'm still in the running, y'all. 11:59 p.m. So I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, just kind of finishing up, and I'm so excited. I've been doing several blog posts, Facebook Live posts, and about the challenge, and we just started a new one, so they're kind of overlapping, but it's all good. So what have you been up to, Dawn?
I have mostly been getting ready for tonight's show and working on my blog. Just because one thing was relevant to tonight's show, I was going to show that last year I did an athleisure wear challenge, much like activewear, but can be worn lounging around. I think most of my activewear ends up being leisure wear, quite honestly. It just ends up spilling out of the gym into the house. So yeah, I just wanted to share that on the blog if people wanted to check out the Dueling Designs blog, that I did have a challenge like that. And besides that, this week I have been working on my revisions for the dot coat. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And I just wanted to mention that there's a post about last week's show on the blog as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
That is pretty much what I've been up to. But yeah, I'm really excited about tonight. I've already heard some of the things Myra has been talking about for tonight's show, so I'm very excited. And Alethia, you even have some hot tips for us too, don't you?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, sewing with knits, it does not have to be tricky to sew with knits and to sew with performance knit fabrics. I mean, there's different types of knits, which we'll find that out. And Myra's going to tell us a lot more. But first, let me say hello to everybody. I haven't had a chance to say hello yet. So I see a lot of our regulars on, Andrea, Carol, Quinora's in the house, Phyllis, Vic. Thank you for coming in, Vic. I appreciate it. So many, I think, did I say Phyllis? Fadal, I see you in the house. So thank you. And thanks a bunch to Faye for handling this last week, week 4 of our Fabric Resolutions Challenge. She did an amazing job. Hey, Debs, how are you? And Connie, thank you for coming in. But yeah, Faye did a fabulous job, didn't she, y'all? She did a wonderful job of finishing up with the outerwear. So thankful to her for that. She did Periscope. So if you missed it, check her out at Faye Doll on periscope.tv, and you can catch the replays. But so yeah, again, tonight, 11:59 p.m. is the end of the Fabric Resolutions. I offered an extension. So if you did not finish, like me, if you haven't finished yet, you have time, and you can still finish up some of those UFOs. So let's get those in. And one last thing before I get into the challenge for tonight. We have started the Februari challenge, which is our outerwear. That's why we're here tonight. That started Sunday, and so there is no week by week project. So that means you can sew as many workout gear pieces as you like. And we are off the fabric fast. Can I say woo? So we can buy all kinds of fabric. So I'm excited about that. If nothing else, I get to buy fabric. So so yeah, without further stalling, I do 4 tips that I want to offer, and I want to say this: before you sew any performance knit fabrics or workout fabrics, you want to make sure you have the essentials. You want to make sure that you have the right needle. Well, first of all, let's start with the fabric. You want to make sure that you have the right fabric for your garments. And so I did offer on one of my previous scopes several pattern suggestions. So if you, it wasn't on my scope, but I did a Facebook Live in the group So Much Talent. So if you want to check that out, I'll give you several pattern suggestions. But you do want to make sure that you have the right amount of stretch for your fabrics. Like I said, there's different types of knits. So every knit will not work for this. And if you remember, a long time ago, we did the little short segment on how to use the pick a knit rule. So on the back of your fabric, your pattern that you choose, it will have the pick a knit rule, and this doesn't come in clear. But basically, it tells you what stretch you need to have in your fabric. So if your fabric is not stretching to this point, then it's not enough. All right, your fabric needs to stretch around your body, not up and down, not vertical, but it needs to stretch horizontally around your body. Okay, so that's one. You need to make sure you have the right needle for your fabrics. Usually a stretch needle or a twin stretch needle would work really good, especially if you're doing like if you're doing wear or if you're doing double stitching. Now, if you have a cover stitch machine, that's even better. But if not, if you have a twin needle, or you just end up doing double rows, but you do want to make sure that you have a stretch needle or a micro needle. And I'm sure Myra will probably go over a lot of this again too. You want to make sure you have the right thread. Okay. Now, if you're not able to use a woolly nylon thread, woolly nylon comes on a cone. And hang on, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, sorry about that. Should have been ready. But this is what a woolly nylon looks like, and it's kind of a it looks weird, almost looks like a yarn, kind of, but it's real stretchy and has bounce to it. But you can use this in your body needle. Okay, use this, wind this. You probably will have to hand wind it, and you hand wind it kind of tight. But use it in your bobbin needle and use regular thread, polyester or all-purpose thread in your top needle. But you got to make sure you have the right needles, microtex or stretch. Okay. And then lastly, you do want to make sure you have the right kind of elastic. I did not pull out, but there is a clear elastic you can use. It's usually about a ½ inch wide, and it works perfect for like the tops that you're going to use, like the racerback bras, or the if you're doing sports like swimwear, if you're going swimming, you know, you can swim on the inside, right? Inside pool. It's good for around the armholes, legs, and necklines. But if not, and also like the pull up the pants that you use, the biker pants or the leggings that you might use, instead of using the wide band elastic, you can use just the thin elastic and do that fold over band. Okay. So those are my top tips for working with knits and being prepared for the you know what, Carol, picnic basket is not what I said, man. I can always count on Carol. It's the pick a knit rule, okay? PICKAKNIT. I almost misspelled it. KINT. Pick a knit rule. Hey, Shar. So those are my 4 top rules for sewing a garment and at least getting yourself a good start. Okay. So,
and if you want to hear those again, they're in the show notes. Just so everybody knows, go down to the info tab, and you can find them there.
Right. right there below. Just click on that. And again, if you want to see the patterns that I suggested, just join in the So Much Talent group on Facebook and watch for the video there, okay? So without any delay, we want to bring on our guest tonight, the lovely Miss Myra Rentmeester of at One So Sweet on Periscope, but she has a blog, Sewing Inspirations. So if you have not checked it out, go to sewinginspirations.blogspot.com. And did I say it wrong? No? Did I say it right? Okay. Okay, so we can check Myra out. All right, so Myra Rentmeester, take it away.
Oh, you're so cute. Simple inspirations.
Did I say it right?
It's simple inspirations.
Okay, what did I say?
Sewing inspirations. Tomatoes.
Oh, that makes a big difference because they won't find it if they're looking for sewing inspirations.
No, they won't.
So yeah, I said it correctly. Simple inspirations.
Yeah.
So thank you, Myra. We're so glad to have you as a guest tonight, as always. And I'm sure we're gonna get your pencils out, your paper, your notebook, and let's take some notes.
Well, first off, thank you all for joining in. Looks like we have a nice crowd here, 32 people. That's really nice. I'm glad everyone, and I have my special friend. I noticed that she came in tonight. She's actually thinking about sewing, going back into sewing. She actually traveled with me, and that is Miss Phyllis that's online right now.
Hi, Phyllis. Welcome.
But actually, as Alethia said, I am the owner of a Simple Inspiration blog for those of you who don't know me. And I am hosting, thanks to Miss Alethia, and I really appreciate the fact she allowed me to host the February challenge for So Much Talent Facebook group. It is outerwear, workout gear. I got outerwear on my brain right now. It's workout gear. And especially since I've really not sewn workout gear per se. Carol reminded me earlier in Scope today that I had sewn some leggings and I had sewn some knit tops. So, you know, I did essentially get workout gear, but not like this with performance fabrics. I learned over the research that I did for this Blab that there's a lot of difference between just working on knit leggings and tops when you're working out for true workout gear. So hopefully I'll share some of the information that I gained, and boy, did I gain a lot of knowledge over the last couple of days during research for this challenge. So, and I saw there was a couple of questions in there, and we'll get kind of right into it. But first off, what I'd like to do is just let you all know that I created a blog post this morning, and it actually holds all of the research that I did for this challenge. And let me tell you, there was quite a bit, and there was so much stuff out there, and there's so much more that I want to do and give you over the next few weeks. So my research on this blog is not done. You'll see and hear from a lot of us some of the, you'll hear overlay, and what is the word I'm looking for? Probably redundancy of some of the tips and things that we've learned, because there's just so much out there. I was actually, are all of you hearing feedback, or is it just me?
If you hear feedback, you might. Do you have another window open?
I don't. But now I don't hear it. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, well, I'll keep going. I'll keep going anyway. If it doesn't bother. Yeah, Femi said that she hears a little echo too.
I hear.
I'm not sure what that. Okay, well, I'll keep going either way. But in my research, one of the things I found was patterns. I'll talk to you more about during the challenge about some of the patterns that I am interested in making, but out on the blog post, there were patterns that I found, Some Alethia showed you, and some that I actually found that I really thought might be easy, and then some might not be for a little more advanced people. But what I'm trying to do is incorporate a little of the advanced and a little, not advanced, but intermediate, and a little bit of the for the beginners. I'm sorry, you guys, about the echo. I hope it's not too bad. I'm not sure why we're having the echo, but because I don't have a second window or anything open. But anyways, it's not too bad. Good. Thanks, Samina. So what I'm trying to do is trying to give you as much information, because I know there's a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions when I went out there and looking. My first question was, I know that there's wicking fabrics out there. So I looked at that. I also looked at different styles of pressure feed and found out there are even different styles of pressure feed that you can actually use. And I included the pictures and the information about why use them, and actually found out that I need to purchase one for myself too, because I think it's a really great tool, and I watched it working. I created some links to some online fabric stores, a couple of them that I've actually purchased from myself that I really like, and they actually carry. And on these links, they won't take you just to the stores, but I did the research, and I actually, when you hit the link, it's going to take you right to the performance fabrics, so that you can go ahead and take a look at those fabrics. I also added some tutorials. And I was lucky enough to find 2 links to Sewing with Nancy, where she actually teaches people, or she talks about getting confidence with sewing with knits, because I know there are a lot of you out there that are afraid of knits. And I understand that. It took me a bit, because I love knits. That's my preferred fabric, but I can understand, because even though knits can be very forgiving when it comes to sizing, by that same hand, they can also be a nightmare because they're so stretchy to work with. So I understand that. So what I tried to do was give you a little bit of both. Also, some of these high performance fabrics with the wicking can get very pricey. So I try to include, some that were, a little bit lower in price. They might not have as high a performance as some of the higher priced ones, but they work just as well. Not just as well, they work well enough for you to use for your workout gear. So I try to incorporate everything in there, and by doing so, I gain knowledge too. And I really, really, really am looking forward to this challenge. So, okay, good. I'll keep going. So is there anything that anybody specifically, because I know there's some questions out there, and if some of you want to come online and ask me those questions directly, please feel free to do so. I'd love for you to come on and ask me those questions. But I know there was a question from, let me see if I can pull it up. There was a question from Alethia. Oops, I hit the wrong thing. And she said, actually, she probably got this question already. Got the answer. Do I have a favorite workout gear pattern? No, because I've never actually made an actual workout outfit. So, but that's what I'm using this challenge for, is to gain some patterns that I like. I actually have 3 here already that I've had for some time that I want to work on this challenge, and I 2 of those patterns I'm definitely going to work on there, and I'll show that when I do my Periscope. Then there are other patterns when I was doing my research that I found that I fell in love with, that I posted on my blog, and I have to get those. Actually, when I get off of here, I'm going to go online, because one of them is a PDF, but I gotta have it, and I'll talk to you guys about that. If you bring that my blog post up, Dawn, it's the very last red jacket that comes up on my blog post. Let's see, it is a yeah, if you scroll down, I think it's the very last one. I love that jacket, and you can get it in paper, and you can get it and download PDF. I don't have a problem with PDF, and I want it fast, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it in the PDF. But I really love that jacket because that's something that you can wear not just for workout, but you can wear it running to the store. I mean, you can make it, it's just really a nice jacket. And I actually found that during the research for this challenge. But there's so much information out there about workout gear and making workout gear that is overwhelming. And I tell you, I was just blown away. I told Ms. Dawn, I said, I started writing this blog and then it took on a life of its own. That's just how much information is out there. I mean, it truly took on a life of its own. So hope that answers your question. No, Miss Alethia, I do not have a pattern, but I plan on having many of them by the end of this challenge. Let's see, we have another one. Okay, where's the best place? I'm sorry? Okay, that's one says where's the best place to purchase fabric for workout gear? That question was from Becky. Okay, Vicky, there on my blog, I actually listed a few places where you can buy, where you can actually purchase workout performance fabrics. Since I've not purchased any of them, most of these are places that most people who buy fabric are familiar with. Some they may not. A couple of them are my faves, and I've indicated those on my blog, like Spandex by the Yard. That's one of my faves. And I actually did a blog post, I think it was a year or two ago, where I made 5 of the Sammy camis. And I actually purchased the fabric for those Sammy camis from Spandex by the Yard. And they were lightweight performance fabrics because sometimes polyester, depending on what kind of polyester it is, would make me hot and sweaty. But the performance fabrics that are polyester and wicking don't do that. They actually do the reverse. So I went out to make those camis. I went out to Spandex by the Yard and I bought that. So I did go to that place and I like them, but they can be a little bit pricey because, and when I say pricey, they're roughly between 12, 15, well, they start like 12 and go up from there. So they can be a little bit pricey. They do have some sales where you can get. Another one is Michael Levine. I love that fabric store. I don't know why. Low price fabrics, I just love them. And I think one of the reasons is their packaging. You can sit outside in the rain and snow and your fabrics will not be messed up because they wrap that up so tight and so good, it doesn't matter. And it comes quickly. When I purchase fabric, I'm a patient person because I sew. But when it comes to waiting on fabric, oh my gosh, I'm different. I gotta have it, but I don't want to pay $30 to get it the next day, if you know what I mean. So Michael Levine, he actually does that. They get it, that company gets it out to you rather quickly. So, and by the way, I just ordered my fabric for this workout challenge. I just did it today. And I ordered it from Michael Levine, so I got all my pieces there. And then if you go on my blog, you'll see I have places like Marcy Tilton. I did research on there, and that link leads you to their performance fabric, Mood, the Fabric Fairy, what was some of the others? And Amazon. I didn't put Etsy on there, that list, but if you don't forget Amazon, don't forget Etsy, because those places actually, if you do a search and you do performance fabric, it'll come up, or activewear. All you do is search for activewear or performance and look for, you know, the performance or wicking or that. I found that a lot of the places, when I did research and I was searching and I did wicking, there were a few places that came up, but a lot of places don't. Doesn't mean they don't have it. It's just they didn't put wicking in the tag. So, I don't like that. I don't know what that is. But and then some of the other things. You have a question?
I was just going to add I was just going to add one thing. It was interesting to note that you can actually print on high performance fabrics, and spoon flower, which I think most people have heard of. You can actually print on those sorts of fabrics. So if you want leggings with like fireworks type thing going off down the side and in an insert, you can do that right on their website. So I mean, it's not as cheap as if you got it on sale at somewhere else, but I mean, if you really want to jazz those, workout gear up and make it really personalized, the world's your oyster there. There's lots of cool things you could do there too.
Well, I'm familiar with spoon flower, but I did not know that. Thank you, Ms. Dawn. Thank you for that. The other thing that I wanted to let you guys know, Alethia touched on, is needles. The needles I put in there, and I gave you pictures and some descriptions of the needles, and including the twin needles. And one of the things that I didn't realize, and I think I did that by mistake myself, but I had a twin needle, but the color of the plastic on the needle makes a difference. And the one that I actually have is not a stretch twin needle. And if you're working with a knit, that's extremely important. You have to make sure it's for knits because they do have both. And so it's the three types were the ballpoint, and they call a jersey and a stretch. So, and I put those out there on the blog as well, so that you'll know the differences, because all of this information for newbies is great, because one of the things you don't want to do is start working on your knits, and then I would suggest if not to use your good fabric first, just kind of test your needles and your feet and things like that with a scrap piece of knit first to make sure you have your tensions right, you have everything in place that you need. And I also, speaking of threads, that's another thing Alethia touched on. She showed the woolly nylon, and I just recently learned of that. I was working on something else, and I was using my cover stitch machine, and they were saying that you get better results if you put that woolly nylon in the lower looper of the cover stitch, and I did. I was a little hesitant because of it looking like yarn, but I went ahead and I did it, and it worked beautifully. So yeah, that's something that you could actually use in your sewing machine too. But like Alethia said, you have to wind it with your hand and not your regular, because if you do, what happens is it stretches out too much. If you use your regular bobbin winding method, it stretches out too much, and then you take away the impact of what it can do for you. So the other thing is, something that I think most of us use most of the time is polyester thread. Polyester thread actually works very well with knits, and it's something that's pretty common out there. One of the other things that you don't want to use is cotton thread, and I address that on my blog too. Unless you want a boo-boo and walking out in the gym or something, and you've used cotton thread on your high performance knit, and that stitch pops, because that's exactly what would happen if you did a straight stitch on your workout gear using cotton thread. It wouldn't stretch, it's gonna pop and it's gonna break. So you wanna stay away from cotton thread when you're using performance knits. The polyester thread will work really good for you. Also, there's something called, and you'll know the trade name of it, but it's cotton wrapped polyester. And it's actually branded as Dual Duty, that Coates and Clark Dual Duty. That works just as well too. And that's pretty common in Joann's and most places. You probably have some of it in your sewing arsenal right now as it is. So those two things work very well for your sewing. And feet. When you're working with your sewing machine and you're working with pressure feet on there, and not your feet, but your pressure foot on your sewing machine, because you can use both machines. You can use your serger, and you can definitely use your sewing machine. I use both. Predominantly my serger, but there's been times when I've had to use my sewing machine for various reasons. And what I found was you can get a great looking stitch on performance or knits period just by using your regular sewing machine. If you have a stretch, which I do, if you have a stretch stitch on your machine, just use that. It'll work perfectly for you. But my stretch stitch on my machine looks kind of funky, and I don't like the way that looks. I like that look of a serge seam sometimes on the inside of my seams. So if you're looking for that, I would suggest using a zigzag stitch. And all you have to do, and I put this information on my blog, all you have to do is put that stitch length down to 1.5, I think it is, and your stitch width up to 5, and then just go to town and do your seam. And trim off the excess, and you got a really nice looking seam on your performance wear. I mean, it really mimics the look of a serger. So both of the machines can be used. You just kind of have to do a little bit of adjustments. If you find that you're working on something and you're getting a little bit of play or stretch in your knits when you're going through your machine, you may want to play with your tension. It may be too tight, and what you might need to do is lower it, because a good tension, I believe, is 2 and below for your performance knits. You kind of play with your tension and see, and that's why I say it's important to test a scrap piece of fabric first before you actually go into your good fabric, just to make sure you got all your stitches right. Because I actually did that when I first got my cover stitch machine, because I didn't want to mess up anything. I used up a bunch of scraps just testing the different things, and found out I didn't want the 3 needles in mine, I wanted the 2. So I took them out and tested it over again, and now it's set up perfectly for me whenever I want to use it. So just do some testing, it'll work very well for you. And then the feet. You guys heard me talk about the feet for the machine. And this is another place of the research where I absolutely was astonished, because I always use a little plastic, let me see if I can get it off my machine, a little plastic pressure foot. And it looks like this. Let's see if you guys can see it. And I put pictures up on the my blog of the different types. There were 3 popular ones, and this is one of them. And this is the one that I referred to that has metal feet on the bottom. But there's another one, and Dawn, if you don't mind, can you bring up my blog again? I want to show, because this is kind of important here. The foot that I'm most interested in is called the knit foot. I didn't even know there was such a thing before I started doing this research on workout gear. And if you, it actually works very, very nice. It actually has a little plastic foot underneath, and there it is. And it has a handle on it where it actually helps lift, and I explain what it does on my blog. But that's something that I need to get me, and it's relatively inexpensive. I found it in a couple of places, mainly on Amazon, that was really inexpensive. But I'm going to get one of those right away, because I think that that's something that's going to help me even further. Now, the other 2 here, the one on the right is the one I just showed you that came with my machine. And some of you may have the full plastic one, which is the preferred one on the left, if you don't have the other one above the knit foot. So these are 3 of them. Now, this last one, I actually saw a couple of videos talk about it. It's called the walking foot. And I know some of you ladies that are on this Blab session probably own this. And it's great. It's a great tool for straight stitching for knits, because it actually works with your feed dogs to assist that knit fabric to go through, so you don't have to worry about any stretching. However, some of the videos they discuss talking about going around curves using that walking foot, or making a turn around a corner. You didn't get the consistent stitches, and they showed where you would get some bunching of stitches, or you get skip stitches around those corners. So, and plus, I don't know if you noticed the price of it, but the pricing of that walking foot can get very expensive. I noticed they had one at Joanne from Singer, I believe, was about $15. That was the cheapest one I saw. But some of them, like the Duel, the one on the right is called a Duel walking foot, and that was roughly about $100 and something. So You know, they can be very pricey, but I tell you what, this thing is a little bit pricier. And it's the other thing too is it's not as easy to get on your machine. The others are snap-ons. These you actually have to do a little more, you know, unscrewing of things and putting it on your actual machine. And they basically do the same thing as the knit foot up above. So I would just go for myself, I would just go with that knit foot because that's something that's easy. You can snap it on and go for it. So now as far as tutorials, I looked at so many tutorials and it was so hard to just pick out a few for you guys. Just, you know, for the ones that I thought you might be get the benefit from. So the first one that I picked was a lady that I found who absolutely is passionate about making her workout clothes. So I actually put a link to her blog and I put a link to her videos because on one of her videos, most recent videos, she asked people to ask her any questions about workout gear. And I thought, wow, this is perfect because now people can go on and they can see this and they can put questions down for her too. And she can get back, and since she already has a YouTube channel, she can get back to them, you know, with the answered questions because she hasn't done that yet. She's just posted to ask, just posted recently to for people to give her questions. But some of the others, like I mentioned, Sewing with Nancy, she explains how you can be confident with sewing knits, and a few others I posted there. So I'm just hoping that the information that I put out there, you guys will find just as beneficial as I did, because I tell you, once I got finished with that, I just wanted to keep going and I was ready to start sewing some workout gear. So, and I know I've been long-winded here. I didn't think I was going to be able to talk with my throat the way it is, but I tell you, the meds work. Thank you, Miss Phyllis. Now, did we have any other questions I missed? You're welcome.
Yeah, we have 3 more.
Okay.
One's from Rochelle R. If you're not sure of the fit, what's the best way to baste the pieces together?
If you're not sure of the fit, here, let me see. What's the best way to piece it together?
To baste.
I'm sorry?
To baste pieces together.
Oh, I would do just that. For me, and since I've not done this, but this is what I would do if I'm not sure, and I'm probably going to do it for some of these. If I'm not sure, and that's especially what I'm going to do with the bra tops, because I'm not super well endowed, but I do have some girls up here, so they actually have to be comfortable. And so what I'm going to do is probably get some of my knit scraps that I have in there, and I'm going to baste those together and try those on for fit first, because if a stitch or 2 pops while I'm doing that, that doesn't matter, because what I'm looking for is the fit. So I would just get some scraps, but make sure those scraps are knit, because it has to be stretchy like your original fabric. Does that answer? I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the people who sew, especially Joanna Liu that you mentioned. Yeah, she says, yeah, definitely practice first, do experiment. And some of the activewear pattern wear designers, they say the same thing. The first one you make might not be the best. There'll be little things you want to tweak. And then the second one, you will just run. You'll make 100 of those pair of leggings. You know, you will love it. So hopefully that's true. There is 2 more questions. Okay. Are activewear fabrics heavier on average than, say, dress knit tops? And that's by Phyllis Humphrey.
Not necessarily. It depends, because when I did my research, and actually the fabric that I just purchased tonight, I actually saw some performance, high performance fabric that was part, I think it was like 82% of polyester, and the other, it was, I don't know, it's like 21% spandex, which I've never worked with a fabric that had that much spandex. And it was 12%, yeah, 12% weight per square inch. this is some heavy duty stuff. I mean, and it was the micro high performance too. Micro by, I can't get that word out. Micro, I know it's to help prevent germs. Yes. Say that again.
Microbiotic?
I think it ended with an L.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. But I've never seen any. So to answer your question, Phyllis, no. I've actually seen and it tells you lightweight, and that's another thing. When you're looking at your fabric, depending on what you want to make, especially if you're making leggings, look for a higher weight. And in most of the fabric stores, they will tell you what the weight of it is. And you'll see, I saw some at 5 weight, and I saw some as high as I think it was like 12 or 15 in the weight, which is really heavy. So yes, and it depends on what you're making too, because the top that I'm making actually has the high performance spandex with the broad piece, but it has an overlay of a that's a knit that can be just a plain rayon lycra knit, something that's cool and breathable. So you mix fabrics too, but just make sure when you're mixing them, what's close to your body is going to be wicking.
Yes, here and think of those really stretchy lycra leggings. And that's a heavier fabric than, you know, the dry fit, or although that's a brand name of Nike, but the really light, super wicking fabrics like you get. Yes. Yeah, so it could be any weight, really, couldn't it?
That's true, but you don't want to do any lightweight for your leggings and have that issue where you're going out and it's a little bit see-through if you're in the gym. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you got some good weight. Some good weight.
That should be a test you do in the store when you're buying it. Kind of like push your hand and make sure that you can't see. Or I always say that when people are buying leggings too, when you're in the change room, kind of bend over, you know, like you're sitting, and then check it out. Otherwise, if you're doing a squat and Zumba or something,
exactly. And yes, Miss Deb, you're right. It's microbial, however you say that.
Microbial.
Is it hard to sew spandex? How do you
know? Well, you know, and I have to say, I'm talking from an experienced sewer. I actually, those T-shirts I put on my blog the other day, those 2 T-shirts, I mean, those were cotton spandex, and they were the easiest things to sew. But I would say no for me. But for a person who's not, who was that question? Was that question from one of our regulars, Dawn?
That is from Deshawn.
Oh, yes, she's one of our regulars. I don't think so. But again, I have to say, practice makes perfect. So if you get you a piece of spandex, and I know that Joann's carries cotton spandex, I wouldn't recommend that for workout gear, but if you want to try your hand in spandex, they have a lot of swimsuit wear, and they have, you know, cotton spandex. Just get you a little piece and start playing with it, you know, and practice makes perfect on everything. So I would say, no, it's not hard. It just takes time to get used to what the fabric will do and how you need to act with the fabric to be successful.
Yeah, I think specifically she was talking about puckering.
Puckering?
Yeah, Deshawn was like, how do you keep it from puckering? I guess because, I don't know, maybe this is one example, but maybe not what she meant. Like, sometimes if you're putting the elastic, you know, like, would it make the stretch knit fabric pucker and things like that? So,
well, one of the things is the foot that I was addressing. There are a couple of things that play there. One of the things is your foot. That foot that I showed you will actually work with your feed dog in bringing that fabric through the machine, because if you don't have a foot like that or using something, your bottom feed dog is the one that's pulling that through. And if you have any tension on the front or the back of that, never force your fabric when you're actually sewing. You don't want to pull it or push it through. You just want to place your hands on it and just basically guiding. You're not pushing or pulling, because when you do that, a lot of times you get stretched, and you check your tension too, because if you're getting some puckering, it's one of those things that are in the play, if that's what you're asking, if that's what she's asking me.
I wanted to share something when it comes to the fabrics that I have, to add to your point about the type of fabrics that you choose. I actually made these pair of workout pants, and these were from, I think it was Neoprene. And I actually found this on a table at Joann's, and I can see that it has good stretch to it. But the only thing about this is I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that right there?
Yes.
This is what happened. Yeah, this is what happened when my band against my pants. And I don't know if it happens with any other fabric, but I love the fit. It's a good weight. It absorbs the water. It absorbs the sweat and everything. But I don't like this, the way this treated, because it really ruined these pants. Now, the other thing is this is a cotton knit, has a lot of stretch to it. I mean, it has really good stretch to it. But once they get wet, they get wet. You know, it does not have any kind of absorption or anything to it. It's very comfortable. I love
can
these.
You see? Excuse me, can you see her?
I can't see Alethia.
Yeah.
Alethia,
I can't.
You can't.
No.
Yeah. Would you mind refreshing?
You can't
Because
see
we really
me at all.
want to see what you're talking about. It's very interesting.
Okay.
I refreshed my screen the last time because I couldn't see her. I'll try it again.
Just a reminder that in the show notes under info, there is information when Myra's on Periscope, Alethia's top 4, and a whole bunch of related sewing sites that you can check in on. Some nice links. Some of them are just so informative, so hopefully that'll help you guys. Alethia, I can now see you. Woohoo! Okay. Let's see those fabrics.
Okay, so this was the first one that I did. This was a neoprene, feels like a neoprene or scuba knit that I found on the remnant table at Joann's. And it has very good stretch to it. And it absorbs the sweat pretty good. The only thing that I did not like about it is that my arm band rubbed against it, rubbed against the knit, and it picked it real bad. So I don't know if you can see that. See how it brushed against that? And it picked it really bad. But I love the way it came out. It sews up really easy. And this was the other pair. These are very comfortable. Now, I found a lot of times I wear these around the house now because they don't hold really well, meaning, you know, if you're out there jogging, you're jiggling, you don't want to do all that. And they do not absorb really well, but they are super comfortable and they are lightweight. But if you just want something to kick around in, just for a stylish pair of pants, this is, I think, a cotton with a little, a cotton lycra in it. So very nice. But I was gonna say the other, I don't know if you've been Girl Charlie. Girl Charlie is a popular source for fabrics, Stretch House and Spandex World. I don't know if you mentioned either of those, but they're good sources for buying knit fabrics for this type of sewing. So you might want to try those.
Yes, Spandex World is on the list, but Girl Charlie was not.
Yeah, also House. There's I found Stretch House because I had to do some performance wear for dancers for a church, and they're out of New York, and they have several types of stretch fabrics they use. They will send you like a huge sample. Hang on. I asked for just a sample sample of one type of fabric, and they sent me this envelope full of samples of fabric. So, and I don't know who took the time to number all these or whatnot, but they'll send you samples of different types of knits that they have. So that's Stretch House out of Atlanta. They're online, so you can go online and choose, different fashions. And they're pretty reasonable, $6, $7 a yard, maybe a little bit better, but they're pretty reasonable.
Looks like you went out.
So,
again.
You hear me?
No, it's your view, your video.
Okay, so I don't know. I can see you all real well.
Okay.
Carol said she can. Can anybody else not see me? Carol said she can see me. Can you see me, Dawn? Okay, everybody else can see me.
And now I can see you.
Femi they can't see me. Okay, let me try this one more time.
Oops. I keep muting myself and then wondering why no one can hear me. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the things while she's refreshing, I wanted to show you guys is I spent a whole bunch, and this is only 1/4 of the workout because I live in workout clothes. This is just 1/4 of the tops, the bra tops that I bought. These are like long tops in my pants. This is only 1/4 of my workout wardrobe that I've been just going out buying. It's going to be really nice to have the freedom to design my own workout clothes. And that's what I'm so looking forward to, because, I don't walk around like most, young folks, because I'm not in this little bitty thing. And, with I do wear longer pants and I do wear shorts too. So, but I don't walk around in that kind of stuff. I do tend to like to cover up with something longer like this over it. So the thing is that it'd be nice because when I go out to actually purchase something, a lot of times I have to settle for what's on sale because some of these things can be really pricey, and I try not to buy at full price if I don't have to, but then you're limited to what they actually have there. So to be able to pick what I want, the fabrics I want, and the style that I want is going to be awesome. And that's why I'm so looking forward to this challenge. So I don't have to shop in the stores anymore looking for workout clothes. I can just make them myself.
Right. So Myra, do you have because we know we're going to hear from you more so throughout this month in regards to the challenge, and just much like Faye did, you're going to come on off and on and talk about it. Can you tell us, I know you might not know your full schedule right now, but as the schedule becomes available, we'll make sure to share it with everybody. But can you tell us the platform that you're going to use? Are you going to do Periscope? Are you going to do So Much Talent Facebook Live? Or how are you going to do that?
Yes, I actually do have my schedule. I didn't put it on my blog, but that's because I'm actually going to create a card and post it on So Much Talent and Perry Crafters. I'm actually going to scope every Friday. This week it will be Wednesday, tomorrow, and Friday, because tomorrow is going to be the kickoff. And then the last Friday of the month will be the show and tell for myself, and any questions and that kind of thing, what I've learned, and all of that. But it's going to be every Friday at 7 p.m. except this week it's going to be Wednesday and Friday. And again, I will post that on the So Much Talent and Perry Crafters Facebook pages.
It's also in the information in the notes below in the info tab. And remember, if you can't catch her on Periscope, or if you're not on the app, you can also watch it on www.periscope.tv/onesosweet. So you can watch all of her prior shows that way. I think any of the ones that you've saved.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an exciting month. I can't wait to see, looking at that blog post when we talked earlier and we were like, hey, what are we going to do for the show? I am so blown away. You did such a fabulous job. And now you're giving us live video to go with it. So that's tremendous, Myra.
Thank you. Thank you. It was my pleasure. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, once I got into it and I started doing the research, oh my gosh, it just took on a life of its own. And I didn't want to stop, you know, but I knew I had to because I had to do this show. So, and I'm sorry, it looks like we are running out of time. I was hoping I was going to get some razzers to come on here and get me like Carol and Andrea.
Well, before we leave the show, I do want to say this. I do want to do this to let you all know what's going on as far as the challenges are concerned. Because again, Myra, you'll be coming back. As far as tomorrow, do you have a time for us?
Yes, it'll be the scope, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that. She's going to give us some information on that. But I do want to tell you, we do have sponsors for February, January's challenge, February resolutions. So, but this is key. This is a trick. I have one sponsor that I can recall. There's a second sponsor out there that contacted me, and I cannot find your information. So one of the sponsors for January is Samina Mercer. And Samina is going to donate. Yeah, she is one of our winners will win yardage of wool crepe fabric, which has been pre-treated, 6 buttons, and matching lining, Bamberg lining. So nice. You got a whole package right there. So I know it's at least 2 yards. Samina, you tell me exactly how many yards, because it wasn't on there how many yards it was. But it's a light piece to get going with a jacket or a skirt or something. Looks like a jacket because she's got 6 beautiful buttons, crested buttons to go with this package. But again, there is a second sponsor out there, and I cannot locate your information. So if you volunteer to sponsor January's challenge, please contact me either on Instagram, on Facebook, or just direct message me, inbox me. Also, we already have 2 sponsors for February's challenge. I'm so excited. So, and they're one of them is on here tonight. I think Becky is on here. She is sponsoring a 40-inch flex ruler. So one of our winners for February will win a 40-inch flex ruler. So excited about that. And Jennifer Davis, she's a constant viewer on Periscope, and she's pretty new to the So Much Talent Sewing group, and not a stranger. And so she has not yet revealed what she's going to be sponsoring. So we'll know a little bit closer to the end. So I'm thankful for everybody that supports us in that way. And also, one thing, Femi, Lilu Designs, African Uncarved Fabrics, she is going to do a special private viewing for all of the participants for the January challenge. Since we were all on a fast and we could not buy fabric, she's going to do this just for us. And so all of those that participated and provided garments and for January, the Fabric Resolution Challenge, I am going to send you a private code, okay? I'm going to send you a private code. And when the time comes, she's going to invite us all to a private scope on Periscope so we can shop. She's going to do a special pop-up shop for us all. Aww. So the participated challenge she's going for us. So I'm so grateful because y'all know we like our fabric, right? So we were not able to do that. So she's doing that especially for us. So thank you, Femi Gordon Bailey, for doing that. And if you want to shop her fabrics, they're beautiful prices anyway, beautiful fabric. You can find her at Facebook at LLD720 Uncarved Fabrics Plus, okay? And she's on Periscope at Lilu Design 720. So hit her up at any time. She sells her fabric by the units, 6 yards for each per unit. It's amazing fabric. I bought several pieces and I have never been disappointed. Okay, so, and she's not paying me to do this, y'all. My fabrics just like y'all do. But I support anybody that's out there giving back, and she's always been a giver. And I made her give fabric away like it was nothing. And that's why her business is blessed the way it is. So anytime anybody's supporting, I like to support as well, just as I've done many many of you. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to this month's challenge. Thank you so much, Myra, for being our host this month. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for all that valuable information that you shared with us.
You're welcome.
Can't
Hey,
wait to
Miss Alethia and Dawn and everybody. Can we give Miss Andrea 5 minutes to come on? I know I was a little long-winded there in talking, but
yeah, we just have a couple kind of housekeeping things, and I wanted to say something, and then I mentioned the comments that she can jump on in. You always love to see Andrea. Yes, I just wanted to mention we had polls this evening, and I always find them really interesting to look at them after. Does the thought of working with a technical or high performance fabrics make you nervous? And yeah, 77.8% said yes, so that's quite a bit. Wow. And 71% of us have sewn with stretch fabrics before, like those used in activewear. And what machines do most people use with knits? Quite like myself, plain sewer and serger, although I also use twin needles as well. So it's quite interesting to see where everyone else is. It's one of the things I love about this show, that it's so interactive. And yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, it is a lot more fun on Crowdcast because you can scroll down and see those polls, see the comments and things as well. The last thing was, yes, there is lots of links, and I just wanted to mention 3 of the links that I found particularly good. There's a site called Fair Trade. She sells her own activewear, and she has a global list of where she buys fabrics, especially high performance fabrics. So I thought that was good. That link's there. And then there's a couple of sewing blog posts that were amazing. One on Seamwork called Strong Sewing that I thought was quite good for a beginner who's a little nervous. And as well, Colette. Oh, they have lots of lovely blog posts there. But Melissa Fehr from, we just mentioned before, she actually comes on and does a whole a 2-part series on sewing activewear, and they're quite good too. So I thought I'd just bring those ones to your attention. Out of all the ones I saw, they were quite good. And now we'll see if we can get, if she's free, Andrea on. So
this information, they can come back at any time that this is up and get that information, right? This does not go away.
Yeah, it's up during the show. It was actually up a little before. It's up after the show. And I also put the same information into the comments on YouTube, or I put links to a blog post that will have something. So like, for example, on YouTube, there'll be a link to Myra's blog post because it's an amazing blog post. So I think it'd be very handy for people to see. And I can't, oh, there she is. And now we're inviting Andrea on. She's going to tell us about a book. It's kind of like last week with our book review. That was an epic show. I did buy some books because of that show.
As long as it's not that book she posted earlier today, because that book she posted earlier today, whoa.
Yeah, I called the title and I was like, that Andrea.
You know what? That I wanted to get a rise out of my Bible-toting sisters out there.
You did that, man.
I have to.
You did that, so yes, that's what you wanted.
You know, they say that in order to get people to watch your YouTube video, you need to do what they call clickbait. So that was some serious clickbait, y'all. Because I know y'all were like, oh, Lord, who done made Andrea mad now?
That was the first thing I said when I got on her scope. I said, oh, no, what's going on?
Right. Somebody made Andrea mad. Wow.
This is the one.
It's upside down.
Yeah. That was only half of it. So yeah, but you got my attention. I'm like, oh my God, do I want to see the rest of this? So
I know, right? So I met a young lady at the store today, and she was 9 years old, and I said to her, her mom was there, and I say, "Oh, you like to sew?" She said, "Yes, but no." She told me she was 8. I say, "My granddaughter is 9, and she loves to sew." And my first idea was to hand her a business card, but I was like, "Oh no, my videos are X-rated." I don't want.
They're not X-rated.
Anyway, I just wanted to share regarding this competition or challenge for this month. I don't like sewing with knits necessarily. I've only started back like in maybe 2009 or so, really seriously sewing with knits because I had no idea how to do it other than the old-fashioned, the plastic knit, the polyester. But anyway, I took a class called Knitwear, and I learned how to sew swimwear and bras and all that stuff. So I'll be doing more of that come our challenge for that topic. But for now, I wanted to share with you a book that was very helpful to me. Y'all know I'm all about the books. It's called Sewing with Knits: Classic Stylish Garments from Swimsuits to Evening Wear. And it's by Connie Long. I got this at Half Price Books for $7.98 quite some time back. But of course, it's a book, so it's out there somewhere. But I think this book is excellent because it teaches you how to do things that most of these new books that I got, and I have practically all of them, doesn't really teach you, including how to put elastic in the neckline. It even talks about performance knits in here and everything. And y'all remember my fancy striped shirt? That's how I learned how to do it in here. Because knits are so new to me, so there's a different way to sew them. So this is one of the first books that I used and still use on a regular basis. Here's the one on how to put, like in my sweaters, when we did knits last year, and I have a YouTube video on how to fit your knits. I even, putting elastic in the seam. You see that? Putting elastic in that's not the elastic. That's a zipper, y'all. Right there. See how to put the elastic, the clear elastic. I learned how to sew with clear elastic and all that stuff. So this is a good book to, I think if you want to go really back old school and get something that'll help you. And the second tip I have for fitting, y'all know I'm always going to mention fit. The normal way of doing a fitting is called negative ease. That means when your body, something that fits your body to where it is completely laying on your body with no movement, that's zero ease. Knits have to go minus, meaning that if your bust is a 38, you would cut it 1 inch or ½ inch smaller. That would be 37.5 or 37. That's called negative ease by 1 inch. Performance knits do not need to have as much negative ease as a regular dress weight knit, like an ITY. An ITY might be a whole 3 to 4 inches negative ease. Whereas a performance knit, because of its stability, it does not need to have as much negative ease. So y'all need to keep that in mind, okay? Even though it has a lot of stretch, you got to be careful how do you do that. So I thought I might mention that.
Thank you.
That's an excellent point, Andrea. I'm glad you brought that up because that's very important when especially for garments that need to be fitted performance, because you don't want to be out there running and your pants fall off. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point about the ease amount, so feel free at any point in time, Andrea, throughout this challenge and throughout the month to interject, something, you want to share in regards to this challenge.
I'll be on next Tuesday. So whatever I think of, I'll bring it up, but just know I'm not an expert on performance. Y'all got that lady right there.
Me either.
I heard somebody else say that too, right down there. That lady right there. She said the same thing, and look at all the information that came out.
I do have to admit what I am an expert at is I'm an expert at research.
There you go. Let me tell you this, and I shared this on another open. Jim shared this with me one day. We were talking on the phone, and he says, I would always say, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert at this. He says, no, you're an expert at the point where you are because you know more information than somebody knows. So you are an expert where you are. So let's stop saying I'm an expert. Share what you know because somebody doesn't know it, and it's held to somebody else, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Andrea.
next week.
Your elastic that you have, they don't normally sell it as readily in the 1/4 or the smaller. I cut that one down the middle. So just so y'all know, I cut it down the middle, or I'll cut it when we get to swimsuits. Y'all understand, but
Right. Yeah, and it is given too, so it does not split apart or anything because you're gonna sew it into the seam, so it can be cut. Yeah. So a lot of tricks. So that means you just need to keep hanging out and come back. Join So Much Talent, the Facebook group. Join Myra on Periscope at One Sweet, and also Andrea at Soda Fit. And so that way you can keep getting the tips and everything when it comes to the challenges for this month. For those of you that are new and not sure or don't understand what's going on and what we're talking about, we have just kicked off the workout gear challenge for February. Okay, and those of you still have a little bit of time to get in on the February resolution. So if you want to join us in this pop-up shop with a special code, you got what? Until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to get something in there, get it sewn up, and get it into the photo album, okay? So even if it doesn't make the photo album like at 11:59, we're using the artist system now, okay? So go ahead and get it sewn up, and then by tomorrow, go ahead and get everything posted in there so that way I can take account of who's in part, and I send you the special code, all right?
Okay, I'm in, but I'm not gonna post my granddaughter on that social media platform.
Can you just post her garment?
I'll tell Jennifer to send me a picture. I forgot to put it on the mannequin.
Yeah, or just blot her picture out or something. Blur her face out. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, thank y'all for participating. The year kicked off so well, and I'm looking forward to this month. Thank you again, Myra, for all the wonderful information.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Dawn, you any last comments, or we have any last questions before we close for tonight?
No, we're a little over time, so yeah, we should just wrap it up. Just thank you to everyone who watched. We really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing it out, and we'll see you next week. And if you want to see our schedule, it's on That Sewing Blab's Facebook page. So check it out.
Let me ask one last thing on So Much Talent Facebook group, if you would, because that's where the challenges are. Let us know what the shows mean to you. All on That Sewing Lab. You can go there too. Let us know what the shows mean to you, and do tell us what kind of knowledge and what you're learning from the show, especially tonight. Do that on So Much Talent group page, okay? All right. Love you to life.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.